I get asked a lot if there's any basement homes that are built around here, and there are. They're just not as many that I do work for. But actually, this particular concrete company, I do all their footings, and they call them frost footings. So this is going to be a walkout basement. So this wall and that one down there will all be walkout. And our city code here is you got to have 30 inches of coverage on a frost footing is what they call it. And then this line right here will actually be a retaining wall or stem wall that'll go out and then kind of 45 over. But basically I'll dig 32 inches down on this line for the frost footing excuse me, from the top of that footing. So I think that one's a foot or whatever, so 20 inches down, and then they'll come up 10 by the time everything's done, so that gets your 30 inches of coverage. And then the retaining wall ones are 24 down from the top of that footing, so it's like 22 or whatever total. But so basically they want me to use a 12-inch bucket, and I think by the time they get done, they fill the ditch in, but then they kind of let it run out a little wide to make it to the top of the formed footing, I believe. I'm not around here, or I haven't seen pour too many of them, but it seems like they get out here to the top and it just kind of slumps over, and it ends up being, I don't know, a foot or so wide at the top, 14 inches maybe. But kind of what I do here is I don't really ever want to dig yourself into a corner, so I'll start here and then it'll go down and kind of jog in. So I'll dig this line, and then I'll set the machine in here since that trailer's there and dig over, and then I'll dig down. And it does seem like these corners, as long as you're pulling into them, if that makes sense, they usually stay pretty clean. It's if I dug this down and then I was digging this way, 9 times out of 10 you'll pull that corner off. But if you can dig them all while you're digging this way, it does a lot cleaner of a job. So yeah, I'll go down this line, and then I'll have the machine sitting over there and pull that back out, digging that way, and then I'll go ahead and make this run across there, and then I'll stop there. I'll go up to here and dig this run, so then that corner will be the one that we may pull it over a little bit. There's not much there to support it. And I had me get the 12-inch bucket on. I told me just to put the center tooth on the line. So then that's kind of 6 inches on the, either side of that line. It'll probably end up being about a 14 or 16 inch wide ditch with this rocky is what we have here. But that's kind of how I go about doing that. Normally they got a guy here that kind of checks grade and kind of keeps it cleaned out and putting the steel in it, but this is later in the day and I think they're off, I don't know, pouring another one. They just poured this morning, or they're setting walls. So they'll just have me come over here and I'll just dig and check grade on this. I'll throw all the spoils to the outside, and then I'll probably get the grading bucket on. And I usually try to pile them up or push them somewhere out of the way so they can get the concrete truck in here and not have any problems. So I may just kind of push it over to the side of that hill, jump in the machine and start digging. Okay, yeah, I just put that center tooth, and I get it. And I don't want to tap their board, so I try to get it over here pretty close. And the first run or two, I just kind of, for me, I don't want to mess their lines up. I just kind of slowly drag it down. Kind of scratched my line in there, which that was a little wavy. Is actually like the master teacher at the footings, but he just has like the most unrealistic dirt I've ever seen that he works in. So this is how the other half gets to dig the footings. This is just some of that good fatty clay right here. Throw it out as far as I can. So I usually try to pile it up kind of at the ends of where the retaining walls, where that's going to end up being. top, try not to take too much in one bite. The 12-inch bucket's a little trickier because I don't like digging with it. It just fills up so quick and then it almost just pushes the material. Yeah, this is what we call like fatty clay around here. That's like some good pond stuff right there. Now it actually will make a pretty clean, straight ditch. I'll show you on that one down there at the end. It'll pull the whole corner off if you're not careful, especially with this sticky clay. Much cleaner when you're always kind of pulling against them. And I try to flip the bucket back and square these off the best that I can. This side, you can kind of come straight in and straight up, or go over so far and curl. I just keep dumping stuff back in the ditch. But yeah, that's basically how you dig that. Try not to lose your line. And then we'll pull back. I actually dug, it looks like a little too far this way, but then we'll just pull from that side. Won't knock that corner in, but then we'll do that all over again down there. See that my blades on the other side of that ditch we dug, so I'm coming up to the corner, I mean. normally you'll see Frank a lot. He'll dig almost up here to it, and he'll try to flake back from the corner. Because just how this pops up in chunks and breaks off, you'll take that entire corner off, which, I mean, it's not like it's do or die where you can't do it. You just use a little more concrete. Which it may, like I said, on those corners, it may not be a bad thing. It's gonna have a lot of weight on there, but you usually try to just make a nice, clean corner. But that's not always the case with this material. As you can see how the whole thing's moving. There's nothing on this side of it holding it. Rake it back and break it up. When you pull on it, it won't be hooked over here and pull this whole edge off. Now, like I said, Frank's videos are a much better teacher than mine, but I've just watched him. He kind of gets to this corner and tries to just scratch it back with the teeth, and then you just carefully this out, you just don't bring it all the way to the end. If I just grab that, it'll probably take everything off from here all the way over there, but you probably still will anyways with what we have around here. Like pushing away from it, not pulling against it, you got a better chance of not just totally ripping that corner off. So you can see how that whole corner just, and normally if it's real loose like that, I'll just take it off, because the last thing these guys want is a chunk of dirt to fall down there in their concrete while they're pouring or something. About doing those. Now I'll track around and then I'll pull it this way. I'll get down with a little bit left and I can grab a shovel and shovel it out of there. But you still kind of want to be careful doing it on this side. Side, and then you just go up. Yeah, that one actually worked out pretty well. Like I said, it took a little bit of that top off, but that's kind of to be expected in this junk. So yeah, now the main footing's done. Push our piles around. Check back when we're done.